Hi and welcome back to Garden Ninja. Today's video guide is going to show you how to build a bug hotel the right way. And I'm going to show you how to do that using all sorts of bits and bobs that you've probably already got lying around your garden. So come on, let's get cracking. So the first project I'm going to show you is how to make a bug hotel out of 2 pallets. You're also going to need some old bricks and a wood saw. Now you may have seen a lot of bug hotels are made of pallets, and that's for good reason. They're readily available, most people will have one lurking in the back of their garage, and they're really easy to work with. Secondly, they allow airflow, which also means that bugs and insects can travel through your bug hotel. We also need to make sure that the bug hotel has a roof that's bigger than the rest of the hotel, and that's to protect it from rain. You may see here that I've got this tray of weird and wonderful plants. This is a sedum roof tile that I had left over from a project. The sedum's incredibly tough, and if you've not seen my guide on how to make a green roof, go and check that out to find out more. But I'm going to sit this in the top of the bug hotel, which will attract even more wildlife, add some protection, just make it look a bit nicer as it blends into the surroundings. Pallets have a central support bar, and whilst you can take off all of these lats using a pallet breaker, it's a bit of a pain in the backside. So what I'm going to do today is cut down on the right hand side of that central support bar, which will leave me with this long rectangular box that's intact, and then it will leave me with half, excuse you Barry, that doesn't have a support, but I'll show you how you can still use that later on with some clever work with a few bricks. So I've finished cutting the 2 pallets, and you should end up with 2 pieces that are the same, like these. One of them is the base, and then one of them is going to end up as the roof. Now they are slightly bigger than the other offcuts. Pieces like this can sit inside, and by using a brick under each of the loose ends, you can then keep it structurally sound. Now, it doesn't need to take the weight of 10 rugby players. As long as it's sturdy and stands upright on its own, it'll be fine, because we're not putting huge amounts in this. But by doing it this way, you don't need to start messing around with deck screws or getting out your trigonometry sets to work out your angles. So it's a really easy way to build a bug hotel. And don't forget, the bugs don't care if it's not pristine. They're more concerned with the materials that we're going to stuff inside it. It's now time to get all of these in position. So another really important thing with your bug hotel is location, location, location. You don't want to put it anywhere where it's going to get smashed by a football when the kids get it from school, or too close to the front of the border. And I see that all the time with certain design guides online, that people build these gorgeous bug hotels and stick them right next to the lawn, and it's just too close to human proximity in my experience. Now I'm lucky in that I'm here in the wildlife garden, and I'm going to situate mine over there near the evergreen shrub, and as these wildflowers and grasses grow throughout the season, it will be well protected, but I can still keep my eye on it. So you want to stack your bug hotel up layer by layer, and you can use bricks for those offcuts that I mentioned before. By putting them under the loose ends, it will then balance them out. So there really is no need for any waste with this project. So finished building up the bug hotel, I popped this sedum roof tile on top, which I had going spare from a green roof project. However, you could use sempervivum, sedum, succulents, you could use a piece of turf, or even wildflower seeds sewed into the top of your bug hotel. So things that would usually go into your compost bin, like herbaceous perennial clippings, can all get stuffed in, and that will just add a really diverse mix of organic materials to help your bug hotel. Now what's great about this bug hotel is that we've got all the different layers with different materials. We've got the herbaceous perennials near the top. As we move down, we've got all those tree prunings and bits of leaves. We've then got the more inert layer, which are the bricks with the air holes and the broken terracotta pot. I've also added in a bit of green matter just to get things moving. You may have noticed that I've not used any garden canes in my bug hotel, and you'll often see them used in all the different design guides online. Now the reason is twofold. The first is that once you've cut them up, you have to make sure that they're really smooth, because they can actually harm bees and insects that try and nest within them. The second reason is, for a bug hotel, you're not really going to be encouraging many solitary bees. I tend to treat them as a separate hotel in their own right, and the reason for that is that they're quite exacting. Solitary bees need either a south or southeasterly facing hotel. They also need a different variety of nesting sizes, and quite often those garden canes are just too big for them. So let me show you that now. Can't forget about solitary bees, and usually in shop bought bug hotels you'll see all those canes that have been cut off and put in and packed in different patterns, but usually they're far too big, because solitary bees will nest in small holes provided that the diameter is between 6mm and 10mm. So more often than not, those shop bought bug hotels and ones made at home, the size of the canes is just too big for them, so that they're useless. So what I'm going to show you today is, if you look behind me, we're going to build a solitary bee hotel in a wooden fence post, which is super easy, low fuss, and pretty much cost free, other than the drill bit that you might need. So solitary bees will use these holes to lay their eggs, which then pupate, and then they overwinter, and then in the spring they will hatch out and fly out. And another issue with the solitary bee hotels is that most people realise that you have to maintain them. So it's not a case of just banging them into a bug hotel and forgetting about them. Every spring these will need to be cleaned out. So once they've hatched out and emerged, I'll get a pipe cleaner in there and just pull out all the debris, and then they're good for the next year. Now I've got quite a lot of these panels that I can add these solitary bee hotels to, but even if you've only got a couple, by adding 5 or 6 and making sure that they're 10 centimetres in depth and around 6 to 10 mil in circumference, you're providing a natural habitat for solitary bees. And all you need to do is next spring, once they've hatched, you then clean them out with a pipe cleaner and job done. So there we have it, how to build bug hotels the right way. And you'll have noticed that both these solutions are using things that you might already have lying around. You don't need to go and spend a small fortune on really fancy bug hotels and equipment. Most of the things that you already have lying around the garden are really useful and are the perfect materials for bugs and insects. If you've liked this video, why not subscribe to my YouTube channel, where there are loads more garden design, hints, tips and hacks, and wildlife guides to help you make your garden look awesome. I've been Garden Ninja, I'm off for a brew. Happy gardening.